Hello again, everyone. This month's TeachHUB podcast will focus on the 5 essential skills you should know for mastering use of the iPad in your classroom. If you and your students have iPads, then you know that these devices can radically reshape the landscape of learning in your classroom. Sometimes we have these iPads in our rooms, but we only use them to do the same lessons and techniques in a slightly new way. If you're looking to master the iPad in your classroom, then you need to consider these 5 essential skills. Skill number 1, Paperless 2.0. First, the iPad is ideal for moving beyond using paper. As a start, you can turn documents you have into PDFs and post them in your LMS like Schoology or Google Classroom for students to access. But the iPad offers us a chance to move toward being Paperless 2.0, which means that you can mentally move outside of the 8.5 by 11 frame that has constricted our documents and student work. Know how to create and expect digital constructs that don't have borders or limits. Having digital content also opens up the door for sharing work in new ways. Allow students to share their work with classmates on blogs or through social media straight from their iPad. When you're paperless, you can share as many copies of your content as you want to. Skill number 2, accessing information. The next skill you and your students should master is knowing how to access the information you want when you want it. Before the internet and mobile technology, students had to rely on a teacher to give them information. Now, Google knows more than we do. Give your students permission to explore the ideas they want to and support their exploration by training them how to choose which content is valid and helpful. Instead of relying on you, students can master how to lead themselves to the information most meaningful to them. Skill number 3, app curation. There are nearly 1,000 apps added to the Apple Store each day. But which ones are actually useful? You and your students need to be able to determine which apps will serve your purposes in the best way possible. A master iPad user does not download and try to use hundreds of apps at a time. Instead, you and your students want to become talented users who can successfully exploit the tools on a handful of well-designed apps. Skill number 4, turning students into producers of content. The iPad offers a multitude of easy ways for individuals to produce content that they couldn't do before. Before iPads, students were often consumers of information, learning from the teacher and taking tests. Now they can be producers who make their own original creations to explore and demonstrate their learning. Consider how you can ask students to use their iPad for taking and editing photos, creating original videos, using digital whiteboards, writing their own books, and creating their own presentations. Instead of waiting to demonstrate what they've learned on a test, they can use their iPads to share their skills and knowledge. Skill number 5, capturing content. Pen and paper were the traditional tools students used to record what they needed to learn. But the iPad puts a lot of tools for recording into your hands. There are apps for taking digital notes, but a talented iPad user will also blend photos, video, audio, social media, and links into their general note-taking. This makes them masters of capturing content and helps users rely on more than their own listening skills. So those are the 5 essential skills you want to pay attention to as you and your students work toward mastering using the iPad. It can be easy to ignore these iPad features and just continue teaching in the way we've grown comfortable. But having iPads introduces an opportunity to radically change the way we teach and students learn. The more you master these 5 essential skills, the more you're redefining the learning process.